How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can't
Yeah.
complain. Well, I
What's
guess
going
I could
on?
complain.
Well, you could, but it wouldn't help. Wouldn't do any good.
No, not at all.
So what's going on? What do you have for the world? How was your trip? How was
Oh, it was
Saturday?
awesome.
Good? Was
Yeah,
it?
it was amazing. It was raining.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
Ev- Everyone stayed too, for the most part.
Good. Yeah. I heard Lindell said he's never seen a crowd so big.
Right, right. And I do know people left when it was raining really bad, so some people didn't make it.
Uh, so
But
there was a lot of people there.
yeah, it was intense. There was 4 miles that we were in line.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
What'd you think about the booing that Mo Brooks got?
I liked it. I mean, 2021, not 2024. I booed every single time any one of those rhinos were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get him back in 2024." I was like, "No, now."
Yeah.
I do
Um,
like Mo though.
yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene even said, and everybody that came on the War Room today said Mo's a good guy.
Mo's great. Yeah.
He's a good guy, but he's got to keep focused. I mean, we got to get taken care of.
Yeah.
Can't move forward.
I
If
will
you're gonna,
say, Tupperville. I mean, he just put on a fake redneck accent when he got up there trying to cater to the Alabama people, and he ain't done nothing since he got in, and he's pushing the vax. And on his Facebook, he brought doctors on there just helping him, help push the vax with their information. He's a scam artist, and so I voted for him too. So when he got up there, I just didn't even listen to anything he had to say because he was like, "This is your Senate seat, Alabama. You voted me in." And I was like, "I doubt it. Soros probably put you in."
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Is,
Lindell was great.
is Trump backing him, Tupperville?
I think, sort of. I mean, it's just, every senator, every congressman, anybody they could get to come to the rally that was a Republican did. But I don't think it was technically like, giving him all the credit in the world. He definitely said a lot more positive things about Mo. I think he's pointing that out.
I don't understand because there's a definite cutoff. I mean, seriously, there's a definite cutoff now between Democrats and Republicans and MAGA. I mean,
Yeah, and if
people don't
you'll
want to
look,
accept it, but that's what it is now. I mean,
well, and that's what the MAGA America First movement's doing. It's separating the patriots from your GOP that's funded by Soros.
yeah.
And then I think there are still some good Democrats swimming around out there, like Tulsi Gabbard and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just the older Democrat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, um, I don't know. It's wild. Uh,
Well, I know the $6 trillion dollar
Infrastructure,
it wasn't passed.
good.
So
That's unbelievable. I'm surprised.
I'm so glad. I'm like, oh my gosh, if that passes. Um, did you see where Fauci was talking about we should have a handle on things by the fall of 2022, and then he pushed it back and said, "Oh no, I misspoke." No, he said winter of 2022, and he said, "No, I misspoke. I meant spring of fall of
Spring.
2022." Yeah, and
As long as the unvaccinated Americans will get vaccinated. That's what I saw.
okay, so this is what I found out about the vaccine. Okay, Dr. Malone was on War Room. So he said, there was two letters, Pfizer and the BioNTech. The Pfizer was not approved. It was the BioNTech product only indicated when the only initiated when the biotech product becomes available. It's not even available. It's not even manufactured yet.
Yeah.
He said liability coverage that allows Pfizer not to be liable for anything that happens, for any adverse events. It only applies to Pfizer products, which is still under the EUA.
The emergency use, yeah.
He said the Comirnaty BioNTech product that will not have the liability, that won't have the liability protection.
Right.
So I don't know, why would you even want to put that out? But this is what he and Bannon said. My light's crazy. The FDA had no they usually have an outside advisory, I guess, that come and they take the vaccine and they do whatever they do.
Yeah.
They had no outside advisory committee for this vaccine come in. Yeah. It says they're using old data from the original coronavirus. They're using original data from the initial coronavirus. The peer review data shows that pediatric risk of coronavirus is basically non-existent. So unless they have high comorbidities, overweight, diabetes. It said that so what they think that they're trying to do is, because the full study for kids, that all that data isn't supposed to be out until 3 years. So what Bannon or Dr. Malone said, that conditional approval, Pfizer not approved, still EUA, biotech's very conditional approval, and huge list of studies required to be performed. It seems that they will try and jam it through the BioNTech for EUA for kids, disregarding any studies, and jam through the BioNTech using the EUA. That means they can then vaccine kids.
Yeah.
October 16th.
You know who's behind BioNTech, right? Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it says they're going to jam it through. It's going to give government and large corporations cover to mandate the vaccine, the BioNTech. Gotcha. And then there was somebody named Michael Yon, who was pretty good. He was on Bannon too. He said Arizona, the Senate already has the Arizona report.
Yeah.
And drops are going to start coming out tomorrow about the Arizona audit. So that'll be interesting. And not only the Arizona drops are coming out, but the report from studies with the Wuhan lab where the coronavirus.
Yeah.
That's coming out tomorrow too. So all this stuff is, I'm just like, what? And then you got Afghanistan. Did you know that China told the Taliban that they should make Americans pay for any crimes against humanity in Afghanistan in the past 20 years?
They're probably accurate. They're probably accurate.
But do you know how much China has no right to say that?
Oh, I know. But they're probably just pointing a finger at Bush and Obama and.
Well, yeah. But China?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what they do to the Uyghurs over there? They mistreat them. They use them for organ harvesting.
Yeah.
They have babies, make them have babies, and then take their babies and harvest those organs.
Right.
I'm just, they're just not one to talk at
No,
all.
not at all. At all.
Um, I don't know what else. Oh,
Well, with
Cindy,
that,
I haven't heard. Oh, you go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
all I was just going to say to piggyback off of what you were saying about the EUA.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, so you go to the website and it's saying, oh, it's FDA approved. And then you go, Biden administration, it's FDA approved. The news media, it's FDA approved. Well, if you read that 13-page report, they're hiding behind the EUA. That they're just extended the EUA. So it's not in full FDA approval at
no,
all.
yeah,
And if anyone wants to sue them, they're hiding behind legal jargon in that 13-page report. So
mm,
basically, what they're going to do, people are going to call us crazy for doing the research and saying, hey, it's not really approved. But the people that believe it's approved, who go get hurt or die, they're going to try to sue, and, and they can't do anything
yeah,
because if you read, they're going to just be like, oh, the 13-page report was public knowledge. You should have read it.
yeah,
And if you read it, it's still hiding behind an emergency use authorization,
yeah.
not a full FDA approval. So it's the paperwork is hiding behind emergency use while the promotion online is saying it's approved 100%. And it's not.
Gosh, and I'm gonna tell you, they were saying, the media is just blasting out there like, I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Um, Sydney Powell. I haven't heard from Sydney Powell in a long time. She was on Steve Bannon today.
Oh, what'd she say?
She was saying that there's still 80 people locked up for January 6th.
Yep.
She said they need lawyers, like big time, like lawyers that are barred in DC.
Mm-hmm.
She said there's a guy named Ryan Samshill. Um, he was uh, beaten by the guards. He was,
Mm-hmm.
what do you call it? Not handcuffs, but those zip ties, I guess they call them zip
Yeah.
ties. He was zip tied and beaten senseless by the guards. Um,
You know what's crazy about that?
yeah,
The guy that shot Ashley Babbitt he's not getting any crimes uh,
no,
charged.
yeah,
Nothing charged.
and you know there was not one arrest on January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
There was no weapons found. Um, Cindy Powell straight up called it an FBI um, setup. She said it was a failed intelligence operation.
Yep.
I said, wow, she just came out and blasted them.
Which is all but being admitted on the mainstream media. They're finally saying, oh, yeah, it looks like, Trump didn't organize this.
So if that's the case, why are these 80 people still being held in prison?
Exactly. Exactly. Well,
I don't
because
understand.
they want us all in prison anyway. They keep.
Well, yeah.
Did you see? There's a general that said that retired general, leftist general, literally said that we should take all the unvaccinated Trump supporters on a plane and go drop them off in Afghanistan.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Where Breitbart reported it today.
That's okay because you know what? The Taliban said they're not having the vaccine there.
Right. Right.
Okay. So we'll go over there. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy. What did you see? Montana banned employers from providing or from making employees have to get the jab to work. So
oh,
they're the
good.
first state to do that.
Oh, good for Montana. Okay.
Because if you
Good.
look at Alabama, if you look really deep into what the Attorney General and Ivy set up, it really isn't protecting against an employer choosing to mandate employees. Montana is the first to do that.
I think a lot of employers are starting to look at, hey, when we require this and these people get hurt, we're going to have to start paying out.
Right.
And I think they're starting to be like,
That's why everybody needs to get the medical exemption form. If they require it and you want to keep the job, first off, if they fire you, you've got a lot of legal standing
yeah,
there. But secondly, there's an exemption form that says you can come to work and say, "Hey, all right, I'll take this, but here's an exemption form. You're going to pay for expenses if anything happens to me." So anyone and everyone, if they want to do that, needs to do it.
yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I ain't taking the thing.
Well, have you seen on Facebook all the nurses that are taking off their name tags and saying, "I'm not doing it. I quit."
Saw it. I
And
wish I
there's
could.
teachers that are starting to do it too.
Yeah.
Saying,
Wow.
we're not doing it. I was at the board of supervisors meeting. That went it went better than the school board meeting.
Okay.
Had a couple of guys on there, really good guys, who really are going to start looking into and starting to push school choice, because we have
Okay.
school choice in almost every surrounding county. This county does not have it. I think there's too many bucks in it.
Yeah.
And but I told the parents I was there with, I said, look, we got to stay on these guys. If we want school choice, we have to email this guy. Give him 2 weeks and say, hey, what's going on with the school choice thing? Have y'all talked about it? Keep us
Right.
abreast. We want to know. I said, but we got to hound them. If we just lay back, I said,
Yeah.
they're not going to do anything.
Right.
But it did go well. But you still have. I just, and I understand, like community effort and working with your community,
Right.
and but what I don't understand and I don't agree with is I'm not responsible for everybody in my community.
Right.
Okay, if I see a kid wandering and around and if she looks 2 or 3 years old and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do something, that's helping the community.
Right.
I'm not gonna go out and restrict my breathing
Mm-hmm.
and get a jab in my arm to help the community. That's infringing on my personal rights.
Right.
And I don't understand these people that say, "Oh, we gotta work with each other and work with the community." I'm like, lady, I told him, I said, we have hopped right over socialism, guys, and we're going straight into communism right now.
Absolutely.
We're going
Yeah.
straight to communism, and you can call me
Yeah.
a conspiracy theorist all you want. I said, but if you guys are walking around like this, and I'm looking at this,
Yeah.
and
I mean, communism's the surface. If they only knew their Bible and knew
yeah,
about New World Order and what the globalists plan to do.
Luciferianism,
Yeah.
and that's even worse than communism. I mean, I just and a lot of things, and I hate to be. Uh, I like people. If you want to believe in whatever Hindu,
Yeah.
whatever, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have. I don't care what you believe in. But a lot of times, I look and I am looking at the Islamic extremists, and it seems like a lot of it lines up with Luciferianism.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I, I, I don't
Well, the
see.
problem is it's all anti-God in a way because there's
Yeah,
only one God. And so all that stuff, it's man-made.
exactly. And that's why every religion is okay and accepted except for Christianity.
Hey, I'm gonna add Joanna. You good with that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Add her.
Okay.
She coming?
I think so.
We can get all three of us on here, right?
Okay, yeah, I think she's coming on now. But yeah, Luciferianism.
Yeah, and they just you know that followers of Christ are on to something when that's what they're pushing away. Everything else is accepted and everybody else should be loving and kind and but let's push Christianity and Christ out of the picture.
Right.
Because it's the truth. They don't do anything but push truth out. They don't want
Yeah.
any truth.
Right.
It's crazy to me. The older I get, the more I see this all has to be real.
Yeah.
Has to be real because they don't do anything but push truth out.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that they fact check or
Yeah.
uh, push out, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the truth.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is she coming? Can we not see her? Or?
Yeah, I sent her a link, so she should get it in just a second. And try to get on.
I know.
Um, that's right, because like honestly, half of me believing in something is sort of I watch the mainstream media, or I watch the fact checkers, and I go, we're on to something, aren't we?
Yeah.
That includes QAnon.
Yeah.
They hate it.
And I'm just
And
like,
they fact checked the EBS alert. They stopped it from even going through to most of the world.
who did that?
Well, okay, so I'll tell the story. FEMA, he's ran by the Patriot now, right? That
Right.
Patriot. A few months back, they let's see. Hold on, she's trying. Let's see if I can figure this out. Okay, hopefully that works. Um, they sent an alert out a few months ago saying, "Hey, everyone needs to comply. Here's how you comply. Here's how you sign up
Yeah.
to be ready."
Right.
And so I guess people didn't comply, and so half the nation didn't get an EBS that day, and it was just a special alert, like, "Hey, we want to do a test. We're testing this." Kind of like you get all the time. You get tests.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know why I get them all the time. I don't understand.
yeah, no,
It has to be my phone carrier.
right, right. I think so. But the only reason to be fearful of the EBS is they're aware of all the talk with Q and the presidential alert and the military, the shadow military or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Um, so why are they freaked out? Why'd they
Oh,
stop at EBS?
oh.
But what I was saying too is it doesn't matter. Space Force is apparently the actual way that we're going to get that alert out to people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Space Force monitors all internet traffic globally.
Oh.
So it's kind of like the NSA, but bigger and using like satellites and stuff.
So I wonder why. Um. What I don't know who I heard it from. If it was Kirsten or if it was. It must have been Kirsten. Bannon, he doesn't talk about EBSs and stuff like that. He doesn't.
Right, right.
He
Only
doesn't.
every once in a while. At some point, he was like, "Hey, yeah, Trump's going to be back."
Yeah. He
That's
does.
about as
Yeah.
yeah,
And he doesn't.
yeah,
He doesn't do a lot of that stuff.
right,
Which I can appreciate. I like to have just the facts just go
yeah,
for me too.
right.
Um, but no, Kirsten said she thinks that when it's the blackout, it's just going to be the blackout of the news.
It
It's
is Central
not
Communications.
right. It's not going to be the blackout like we're all going to be blacked out and just sitting in the dark every night. That's what she. That's what she said.
Right. Hold on, I'm gonna try and send this through something else to her.
Okay.
You still there?
Yeah, but I don't see you.
Yeah, I'm just sending it in here. Let's see. Maybe that'll work. I think her internet may not be doing it right. Okay. So yeah, I sent it through Facebook Messenger. We'll see if she gets it there. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, just Kirsten W said Central Communications blackout. That's what I was thinking too. The only thing I worry about, Biden has talked about the power grid before, so he may go as far as
That is true. Yeah.
they've attacked the economy. Grocery stores are going to be empty.
They're already
once
starting to be empty.
They are. Once we get all the news out, once the Arizona audits come out, will they kill the internet on us? You know, I don't know. It's possible. And then past that, will they kill the power at some point or try?
Well, after the 31st, Taliban, that's one of the first things that they're doing is they said they're killing the internet, killing the Wi-Fi over there. Taliban.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So I'm like, wow, those people are going to be over there with nothing.
Right. So we could end up seeing that here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't believe there's going to be so many American Christians, even Afghanistanis that help this. I don't think we should bring them here, but I mean, they're going to be persecuted. They're going to be.
Right.
But
did you see that Christian I talked to on Facebook today that was telling me that
oh God. I can't. She's like the people here at these freaking school board meetings that are, we don't all have to be, no, I don't protect you. You protect you. If you choose not to come out of your house, Joanne said
not supported on her browser. I wonder what browser she uses.
She should be on Google. Do you?
Yeah, tell her
Google?
to try Google, but also tell her to get the Zoom app, which is what we use. Well, I use the Zoom app.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, yeah, tell her we're both on the Zoom app, so to get it.
Okay, you see me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have to send you this video, and it's Juan Saban, -48, a couple other people, and they just keep talking about Junior. And when
Is
you
it the
get a
one with the
chance,
blonde lady in it?
yeah.
Yeah, I started watching that.
Okay, so did you see when -48 came in?
No.
He comes in about the 9-minute mark.
I think I fell asleep.
Okay, watch that again. So he's just a black square. He doesn't show his face.
Yeah, he never shows his face. Yeah.
Right. Go watch or go listen to his voice like really well, and then if you can find a way to listen to an old Junior speech, and then put them side by side, and just tell me what you think.
I've done that before.
It's wild.
I thought that he sounded like him.
-48. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and in this video, when you get further in, they talk about Junior being alive.
Oh, really?
They talk about it constantly.
Well,
he talks about it too, like he's not it.
What does he say about it? Like, what are some of the things that he says
that Trump has Junior hiding until the right moment.
Oh.
Yeah, said that the thing in it, because basically watch that video, but you'll see Juan, and they do a lot of gematria. Have you seen that stuff before? The
Mm-hmm.
numerology, the Hebrew
Yeah,
numerology,
yeah,
and they say Trump talks in that, right? Q talks in that as well, the Post and everything.
right.
So they say that even when Trump was in the office, the Oval Office, that one day, and he was like, "Oh, this is my friend John John. This is John John," and showing the picture of Junior hiding in the desk, the Oval Office desk.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That he's sitting there telling us, he's like, "Hey." And then did you see Trump was also referencing back to his West Point speech three
Did,
times at the rally?
did you watch that speech?
I did. I did.
Did you pick
He was
up,
basically
up anything that he was?
basically the same thing they did, that he was just telling the military that we were in an age where the military was going to have to be so strong and so ready
Mm,
because foreign forces were going to try to take the country.
hmm.
So it wasn't anything too crazy, but that was basically it. Basically, like,
How about the guy behind Trump at the Alabama rally, the one that held the 17 up?
oh yeah, I heard about that.
Did you see that? What
Yeah, yeah.
some are saying that was John.
Whoa, I gotta go look at that.
Yeah,
Dressed up?
yeah.
Huh. Okay, I'll go look at it. That's interesting.
Uh, Judy just posted something. I wanted to talk about too about Harris
Okay.
being president. If they do the 25th Amendment, not to jump subject, sorry,
Yeah, go for it.
but I was thinking about it. Um, Marjorie Taylor Greene said, "Look, if they impeach Biden or they do the 25th Amendment on him," she said, "don't be scared of Harris being president because nobody likes her."
Right.
She said nobody likes her. Nobody
She's
wanted her.
weak.
Yeah,
She's weak as well.
she said so. Don't. She said so. Everybody out there, don't get all scared because if Joe leaves, it's going to be her. She said that nobody likes her either.
No, I'm not convinced that that's been the end game. Like, a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, we got to get by. They're gonna put
Yeah,
Kamala in because she's the strong one." I hadn't seen that.
she,
Hillary and Obama are running the show. Hillary took a presidential phone call this past week.
I know. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah.
Took it from who was it? Can- Canada? Was it Canada?
Justin Trudeau from Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And New Zealand paid the Taliban like $3 million to get their people back.
Mm, wow. That's crazy.
$3 million.
To jab them. New Zealand's basically like, if you don't get the jab by the end of the year, we're coming for you.
Really?
To their own people. Yeah.
Wow.
hmm On that front, though, Justin Trudeau he's a globalist. He's part of the New
Yeah, he's
Order. So
horrible.
him
Yeah.
and Hillary are already friends. They meet at the tables.
So wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Did you see today a guy got arrested inside of his car in California with 300 recall ballots,
I
drugs,
love that. Yeah,
and weapons.
yeah. Fentanyl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still don't know what the recall ballots were for or what. But
I thought he was he not Af Af Afghani?
oh, I think he was.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think he was of some type of that descent, I believe.
So what was the end game, you think?
I don't know.
They're attempting to steal that election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, somebody said, I should have written stuff down about this too. They were talking about it a lot today on War Room. Um, they don't think that Nixon's going anywhere.
Not right now. He's going to win.
Think so?
They're stealing it.
Okay.
That's why recall ballots are everywhere. They're being taken. Yeah, he ain't going anywhere for now. He won't go down until Q in the military. Yeah, handle it.
Wow.
That's all right. Let him hang himself with some more fraud.
Poor. I don't know how much more California can take, though.
I know.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. Well, did you see New York City? There are people protesting in the streets in New York City because they can't get in anywhere because of the passports.
Good.
So there's actual people protesting there.
Well, I think that there's some business owners that are suing the state.
Yeah.
For making them do this.
Yeah. Everybody's about to go out of business.
Yeah.
It's going to be an economic collapse.
And is that their whole end game with the death? I thought a lot. I was like, okay. So I know people don't want to get jabbed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're not going to go back to work.
Right.
So is that their whole end game of it? Is that how they're going to collapse? Is that part? I think it all ties in together. But it
does. So you first off, you shift small business to the corporations. So that's why Target and Walmart's paying a lot. Target's paying like $15 an hour to start.
Yeah.
So your major corporations are going to pay employees, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was having a conversation with people I work with the other day, and they were sort of interested in leaving my workplace to go work at a Walmart or Amazon or a Target. And I was saying, that sounds good. The money sounds good. Yes, but if you go, you're helping solidify the death of small business.
Yep.
Right. And it's because the money's floating around there. They're throwing money at it. And they're able to because they made so much during the pandemic. While all these small businesses struggled, everyone still went to Walmart, everyone still went to Target, everyone still went to Amazon. So there's that. It's a middle class shift. But then also, if you think about it this way too, it's a double-edged sword. They are the very companies that will stand with the new order and figure out a way to make you show a barcode to get into the door.
Yeah.
That's why you always heard the term FEMA Walmart, where there's only one place to go, you get everything there, and that's the only way. So Walmart, Amazon, Target, somebody, they're going to be the ones that stand there, comply with the New World Order, and tell people this is the only way in, and everything else is shut down. It's only us now. And to get in here, you've got to be marked. So it's also that, I do believe.
Wow.
That's later, though. First, they got to shift, kill the small businesses and shift everything.
Wow. I think too, somebody was saying, somebody I was watching, I don't know who it was, but it was the start of that 107 and negative 48 video. She was saying you have to stay positive and you have to think about what you want. Think about what you want for your country. Think about what you want for your life. She said, because a lot of times the energy, if everybody starts putting out the right energy,
Hmm.
that that help. Like I was saying with the nurses, like we could start like finding a nurse who has quit her job because she doesn't want to get jabbed and go see her.
Yep.
Maybe she won't be able to prescribe us medicine, but she could at least say, okay, this is what it looks like. Because most of us know the nurses are smarter anyway. The
Right.
nurses do most of the work.
Right.
So if we could go to them, I mean, they could help us as far as that's concerned. We can start
Hmm.
hiring teachers to do uh, small groups of children,
Yeah.
instead of a whole big school. You
Right.
know, if we start resourcing what we have here instead of, I mean, but so much of our stuff that we use is coming from other countries, China.
Yep.
So I'm like, I mean, we don't have that many factories here. We don't, there's probably so much everyday stuff that we won't be able to get from our own country, but somebody needs to start learning how to do it. Because we need to get back to, there's got to be people around that know how to, I don't know, make trash bags or
Yep.
whatever the case. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We
And
have
Trump
to.
was taking us in that direction.
Yes, I know. I'm like, oh my God. Ugh.
Hmm. But now we're faced with probably empty grocery stores by the end of the year.
Yeah,
I've been feeling it in my spirit all year that like by the end of the year it
yeah,
was going to be bad. And you're seeing it now. The grocery stores are emptying.
yeah. They are. Stuff is.
But that
I,
that's part of how the military can step in. There's an
oh,
enemy in the White House literally killing the supply to our country on purpose.
oh. Is that written somewhere?
Yeah, well, so the military is just, I think it's 11.3, 11.4 of the Constitution. They're the last line of defense to let our country be taken over. It's their sworn duty that if a
Okay.
country is attempting a war with us, or this is a war with us, or a takeover, or whatever it is, they're the last line of defense. And that last line of defense also helps when they can look at the constitutionality of what's happening in the country and go, the Supreme Court is captured, the FBI is captured, the
Hmm.
Department of Justice is captured,
Right.
the Department of Homeland Security is going after its own people.
Yeah.
Um, and there are judges bought, lawyers bought. Rudy Giuliani's license gets revoked um, for just trying to look into election fraud. But we can't get Hunter Biden's laptop looked at in a court. And what do they do as well? Someone on the good side, the white hats, are leaking all that. And our justice system in the country is not doing anything with it.
Yeah.
Because you got to think about that. How is it leaking out? It's either McAfee, his dead man switch, which
Yep.
negative 48 and Juan talk about that. Some of what's coming out is his dead man switch.
Okay.
Okay. So, but
I,
it's
I,
something to do.
I would
Somebody's
say,
leaking out good information to us. Somebody's leaking out all his laptops. That stuff, Fauci's emails and all kinds of stuff, that stuff doesn't get out. How does it get out? Because everything's so covered up at the top. How's that information getting out? We have somebody. Is it the NSA? Is it Space Force? Is it McAfee's dead man switch? That's the only way. One of those three. But our justice system shows that they won't do anything about it. So it's sort of like I said about the EBS. FEMA knows that half our country's corporations will not let the EBS go through. Doesn't matter because Space Force is going to show it anyway. They're going to send the alert. Same
yeah.
thing here. The military can look and go, no justice, not a single bit of justice. Because Q's always said they have everything. We have it all. We have it all. 400,000 sealed indictments. We've got all of it, everything. Because we have the same way they track our phones and everything we've ever done.
Yeah.
They have it from them too. Everything, every email, everything.
So what about if our military is going so woke? We're not gonna.
It's on TV. They parade. Our military 80% intact. They take Millie and they put Millie on TV. Our country's full of patriots and people that just want to get married and have kids and be normal.
Yeah.
And that's who voted Donald Trump in and voted him in a landslide. Most of the woke far left agenda is just because the corporations, the television set, and the media are all captured. So we see it on our phones and on our TV. The country's fine.
Yeah.
If we didn't look on TV, or if we just turned off the TV tomorrow, we would be perfect.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't they just cut the TV? If they just cut the television, people might be like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. So same thing. They put the military, Millie, a couple other corrupt generals on television and make us think that the whole military's gone all woke. And they haven't.
They have not.
Because Biden's not the commander in chief. The military are having to take the jab because, let's face it, military's always had to get jabbed up, which probably something need to get looked at some point. The fact that they got to go in and get about 18 shots when they walk in the door,
Yeah.
But as far as all the woke stuff going on, that's very centralized. Trump said it at the rally. Trump said the generals they put on TV, he said something along those lines.
Oh.
He's the one that said.
He said everything woke goes to shit.
Yeah, he did. It was awesome. It was around that time he was talking about that those he said those generals on TV, that's not our military. He said something along those lines.
Oh, okay. And I remember he was talking about one. He was like, I don't know the guy. Could be a nice guy. But I love when he does that. I don't know the guy. He could be a nice guy. I don't know.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he gets people riled up though when he starts talking about that vaccine.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that for all the listeners. So, this is my take on it, and I have had fights with friends over this. Let's say it. Let's say it. Look, he's president at the time. We're in a global pandemic that's going to kill everybody, right?
Yeah.
He's forced to come up with 3 vaccines. Take a look at it from one perspective. They didn't want the vaccines to come out. Remember their backlash against them? They did not want the vaccines to come out. The left. They didn't want them. They wanted to stay locked down. They never wanted us to come out of that first lockdown. We were supposed to be done. Okay? Think about it from that perspective. They didn't want the vaccines. Yeah. So, they would have came along with the vaccines later with their agenda once we're locked down forever. But he got them ramped up, got them out, and we got back open. And it ticked them off. Okay? Now, the whole time, he's talking about therapeutics, Regeneron, hydrochloroquine. He's been screaming about therapeutics the whole time. Yeah. Barron's autistic, and he's autistic because of vaccines. So he's very anti-vax. But this left...
I didn't know Barron was autistic.
Mm-hmm. The left has been trying to get...
I thought he was very smart. I guess autistic...
Yeah. He's on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
So not full autistic,
Okay.
So then think about it from this angle. They've been trying, back at their reporting, they've been trying to get him to say he's anti-vax the whole time. They hated when he was talking about hydrochloroquine because they were saying, oh, he doesn't care about the American people. He doesn't want there to be vaccines. So he was in a double-edged kind of sword
Yeah.
type situation.
Yeah.
So he comes out with them, has to support them. And then what I try to tell people is that we're growing, but we're still few and far between. Like us people that understand that the vaccines are bad, us
Mhm.
people that believe and know that there's evidence to support that, know it's bad. But also at the end of the day, most of our Trump supporting base still went and got it, right? Still believed in it. Now everybody's coming out of a slumber sleep and starting to
Yeah.
wake up. Even second shot people are starting to say no to the third, and then so forth and so on. They're going to continue to
Right.
get like be like, I ain't taking any more.
Yeah.
So in that regard, are we asking Trump to commit career suicide? The guy that really at this point, besides God, is the only human being on this earth going to get us through this situation, right? Um, are we asking him to get on stage and bash the vaccines? Do we
It
really
would,
want him to do that?
yeah, it would be career suicide.
We won't elect him again, and the media would have a field day.
Yeah.
Anybody waking up would go back and go,
Yeah.
he does not care. We knew
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of the day, it would never be good. Now, he has already come out against the Delta and said it's a hoax. Said basically it's the same variant, it's the same disease, and basically that it went into, and we know it went into vaccinated, and the vaccinated almost are making it more contagious, and then
Yeah.
they're now spreading it at a more contagious rate. So it's the same virus. The vaccinated just caught it again, and they're passing it along to everybody that didn't get
Yeah.
it before.
They don't even have two different tests for it.
No, no, exactly. It's the same thing. So he's been calling that out, and I think he knows it's a good time to call that out. Well, I'll tell you another thing too. Trump woke most of the American people up. The Great Awakening, right? Q, Trump, everybody awoke a lot of people.
Right.
Um, he knows when he says the stuff about the vaccines, he's ready to get some boost. I think he wasn't surprised at all because he knows we're free thinkers. So
Mhm.
he says it, and then he's like, but I believe in your freedom. Maintain your freedom. Maintain it. You have your freedoms. We know the man wouldn't mandate it. So to trash him over political theater and the chess game that he's in, which some people have done, if that's the one thing that Trump has done wrong, and the one thing we all don't agree with him on, is that a reason to jump off the train and just bash him, which many people have done?
I
And I
know.
take just as hard of a stand on the vaccines as anybody. But I'm aware that Trump's not going to force me to get it. And I'm also very aware that he's the leader of the free world and cannot stand there and say that the vaccines he created was bad. That's terrible. It's like why'd you create three vaccines then? You know, why'd you create three and now say they're bad? Were you lying to us? There's just he has to wait, just like we have to wait with the Great Awakening and wait for people to wake up. We've got to let people do the same with the vaccines. We got to let free thinkers and the science. Now, other people say, all right, but people are dying. And so they're like, okay, they're mad at him because people are dying. Well,
Either way, they're gonna be mad at him because people are dying.
exactly. You should be mad at the federal government for not asking people to consult their doctor, because one thing, the deaths are people for sure that have not consulted a doctor and have some condition or something that shouldn't take it, right? We know that to be one
Yeah.
one reason. That's for sure. So that should be held liable. But all the other stuff, we're still in a stage as conspiracy theorists, we're still in a stage where we can't 100% prove exactly what these vaccines are about to do. I know people that are taking it, they're fine. We're still in a waiting game on how they're going to handle people. Now, we believe we know they're going to be bad, and we believe that people may even massively die.
Yeah.
But at this point,
We just don't
we're
know.
not sure. And did he send some kind of placebo out there? I don't know, like who knows,
Well,
but
he kept saying I've taken my vaccines. I've had my vaccines. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, is he talking about like his childhood vaccines? Like, because when you're talking about coronavirus, you should be saying, I had my vaccines. Not vaccines. He kept saying, I've had my vaccines, my vaccines. And I'm like, is he talking about the coronavirus vaccine? Because he's not saying coronavirus vaccine. He's just saying that he's had his vaccine. Well, we've all had our vaccines if that's the case.
Uh-huh.
So I'm
I
like,
think he's talking about Regeneron.
Yep.
oh, that's what he's talking about.
Joanna.
You see, all I can see is your armoire.
Joanna,
You get to see
Where
my
are you at?
armor today.
Joanna, you're not going to act like Wano Savin, are you?
Hold on, let me give you my foot.
Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Look.
gosh. That's a beautiful
Hi.
armoire, though. I
What?
like it. I like the armoire.
that's all you get right now, man.
Okay. I like it.
But look, you were talking about
Regeneron and Trump pushing the vaccines.
Regeneron, or is it Regeneron?
Regeneron.
Okay, and then hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, whatever. All these things, that was like his, from what I got from a Charlie Ward show that I just finished an hour ago. He talked about that those were they're actually formally listed as vaccines.
Oh.
But everything that we have going into the arms, the poison, right?
Yeah.
Because those are not even listed as vaccines.
Because they're not, because they haven't captured COVID.
Yeah. So when he says that he's talking about vaccines, when he says the words vaccines, he's not even talking about what's going into the arms, the poison in the arms.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
About what his protocol was, what he was served in the hospital.
Yes, I was thinking I kept saying he's not talking about. I'm telling you, he's not talking about. I was saying to myself, he's not talking about COVID. He's not talking about COVID vaccine. Because first of all, he knows the COVID vaccine really isn't a vaccine. You can't have a vaccine unless you capture the virus and it's in the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And they've already said they haven't been able to isolate it.
Nope.
So if you can't isolate what you're trying, if you can't capture what you're trying to treat, then you can't treat it.
Right.
I mean, that's common sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Yeah. So
Joanna.
Yo.
I was telling her just kind of my idea on why Trump has to push vaccines, can't trash them, and how it would be political suicide to do so at the moment.
Yeah, there's still too many that are very, we'll call them sheepish. They're sheepish. I'm going to try this, but I'm probably going to hate it and flip it right back around.
Why? It's okay. I'm in my pajamas.
You know what? I forgot. Guys, I have this little cover over my my camera coming my way.
Oh, I was getting ready to say, why
do
can't we see you?
For the armoire.
It's just a big black screen.
Yeah, it's just a black screen.
That's the armoire. Which one do you like?
The armoire.
The armoire?
Yeah, it makes you seem like Juan. We'll call you Juan.
Hey, hi, Jawan. I like it. So, I'm Jawan 17.
There you go.
There we go.
But yeah, I was telling her that he's anti-vax, and Barron is on the autism spectrum, and he was screaming about hydrochloroquine. He was screaming about all that stuff, but yet the left was trying to get him to admit he was anti-vax the whole time. And they've still been wanting him to say that he doesn't believe the virus and that he doesn't believe in the vaccines. But he's kind of stood like a middle ground the whole time with political theater. And if you saw the report the other day, they were baffled the other day and didn't really know how to report when Trump people, kind of almost defeated the myth of Trumpism and that we would follow him with everything he ever said. And so they were almost baffled at how to report the other day because they were like, oh, do we stand with Trump because he's pushing the vaccines, or do we just bash both of them?
And I think that's another reason why he did it.
Why? What's
Why?
that?
To make them, oh gosh, well, all the people are booing him. So do they really boo him? Or do we say Trump's good because he's promoting the vaccine? He's trying to confuse the media, the mainstream media.
They confused him. That article was so confusing. They didn't know. They were like, oh, it looks like Trump has pushed his supporters to the edge, and they don't even trust him now, and they're just slime. Keith Olbermann called us slime.
Well, it takes people looking beyond the surface, and
yes, absolutely.
I have been in, what am I going to call this? I've been in a I guess 2 weeks long of this how do we put it, a -48 boot camp.
Joanna, I just told Lisa, I said, look, you have got to go compare the voices, because if that's not him, he's not alive.
But -48 boot camp, and I am learning so much. I've had times I've been up till 5 in the morning and had to be at work at 6. Don't tell anybody. Last week, man, I got through that day. Bless everybody's heart that had to see me. But it's like your whole world just opens up to, it's like the Matrix. I just read this. It is like the Matrix.
Wow.
When you listen to them and his team on -48, and you find out everything that's been planned, everything that's been coded, everything that matches this, that matches this, that leads to this, that leads to this. It is literally like when you start understanding what they're telling you, it is like you have opened your eyes and you see all the numbers of the whole world. It really is like when you're seeing the numbers on the screen, and it's like, what is all this? So I'm learning a whole lot.
I was telling Lisa about the gematria, the Hebrew numbers, the numerology that -48 talks about.
I'm so glad you said that, because one of the things they're saying is that in this war that we are fighting in America, you're not going to go to the Jewish numbers. You go down to the simple English, and that is what they're using with all of the coding.
The coding,
so, this could sound crazy to most people, but
and the evil has been using it way more than we have. I mean, they use it all the way down to 9/11 being a number they like to use.
Yeah. And do you want to know why that I learned last night what 9/11 actually is?
Yeah.
Have y'all seen the Trump in a Santa costume? And it says something like, you're going to have a very Merry Christmas, or Merry Christmas to you, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I just run across that, and I didn't know what that means. Like, okay, we have to wait till Christmas now. But actually, when they do all the true calendar, numerology, all the things to figure, because our calendar got changed. Everything got changed. Everything's different. Going from, what is it,
the Julian calendar,
to the Gregorian, or vice versa. When it is, I don't know enough about it yet, but I know that
I think
calendar.
it's from Julian to the Gregorian, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing about that is so that we would not know the times and seasons and dates, so that we would be blind to it all. And it went in, so then I mean, this is just an example, not something they talked about, but
Mhm.
our resurrection celebration, the resurrection weekend or time, ours, it swims all over the place. It swims from March to April. Why do you think that is? Why don't we have an exact, weekend that we know
Mhm.
the specific date? It's because we switched over to this pagan religion calendar, and
Hmm.
actually, celebrating all the fertility gods, and that's why you've got
Yeah.
all the bunnies and everything. So
And
anyway,
Joanna, it's also the Antichrist that's part of the Antichrist system, the Antichrist spirit, because he
Yeah.
scripturally changes the calendar.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so guess what I found out? And this was it was 2 in the morning listening to negative 48 on the live chat. There was over 1,300 people on this
Yeah.
live chat at
Oh my
Right.
2 in the morning. Okay.
Mm.
And you got to listen, and some of the things you're going to hear again, and it's kind of okay, let me get this in, let me understand it or whatever. But then every once in a while there is a big fat truth bomb that is dropped, and everybody's just silent, and it's like, what did he just say? It's amazing. So one of those things is that Jesus's birthday, the actual date,
September 11th.
September 11th,
God.
03
I
Shut
heard
BC.
it.
up.
Yep.
And
September
so
11th.
this,
My mom has been
I
saying for
not ever
years
said,
that
huh?
I don't, my mom has been saying for years, I don't really think that I don't I don't think his birthday is really in December. I think it was before December. I don't really think and I was like, oh, okay, mom.
Yeah, she was right. She was right. So, but the crazy thing about this is I have heard um that okay, and we cannot say dates. We are not going to say dates, but
No
Yeah.
dates. Yeah.
yeah, but the 10-day, we've heard about the 10 days of darkness,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Which is
Central
actually going to
communications blackout.
Yeah, but it's actually going to be the 10 days of enlightenment. And
Mm.
that's what we have to look forward to. 10 days
Yeah.
of enlightenment. And
Yeah.
they're talking about it's actually probably 13 days, where 3 of those days will most likely seriously be a blackout of electricity as well. That there could be 3 days of a lack of electricity, but I believe it was something where they're already anticipating that the deep state are going to try to take out our
Yep.
electricity, take out the power, so that they
We were
can
just talking about
do
that.
Yeah,
this
we're
day
just talking about that.
of okay, so good. So 3 days before that, but then the 10 days, what I'm hearing that would be their preference. Okay. Not that something might not have is gonna that something may not happen or whatever, but this if everything goes to what they would like to happen, and these are the ones that have done this planning for decades, um, that the 10 actual days would be September 1st to September 10th. And then after everybody has seen this Trump movie for 8 hours a day, 3 times a day, 10 days,
Yep.
where everybody is,
Documentaries.
stay in
Yep.
your home, watch this, and find out what's actually been going on
It's the
everywhere.
only thing on TV too, right? It's the
Yeah,
only thing showing.
it'll be on any device. So it'll be televisions, phones, iPads,
Yep.
computers, any kind of device like that. It's going to be going on a 8 hour circuit.
We will have
And
seized all the assets of the media corporations and
yeah,
television sets, basically.
yes, exactly. And they don't want that to happen, so they're already anticipating that there'll be 3 days of them getting it being blacked out and them bringing it back. Okay, but September 1st. I mean, I'm the first one to go, don't say dates. But this
Yeah.
is crazy because, and I heard this 2 weeks ago. So that's why this Christmas thing now is getting me really like hopeful, is you've got September 1st through September 10th, where everybody gets woken up, whether they want to wake up or not, a kick in the pants, pull the pillow out from under them. I don't care if they want to wake up. This is the truth, and you're going to hear it. Wake up, for 10 days. And then guess what? After the 10 days of awakening, of enlightenment, guess what day we finish all of it on? We wake up the next morning, everybody awakened to September 11th,
Mm.
year
Mm.
anniversary, restitution,
Would be
re-
nice.
just everything that we have been waiting for.
So basically, they're gonna play the same game that, which is good, that the the left has been doing the whole time with the MK
Chess
also
game. Chess
pumping,
game.
and with pumping in stuff, pumping
Hmm.
in information. I mean, that's, you know, and you hear the same rhetoric on every news channel. You hear the same thing. They're just pumping out the same thing, same thing. So basically, they're gonna do that, but
Yeah.
with good
So
news,
I,
not
I,
bad.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine just about the rally this past weekend, and they were like, but I just don't like I just don't like hearing anybody bash anybody, and let's just talk about the positive, and don't, who cares? Just
Oh
don't even talk
God.
about Biden. Don't talk about Biden. But
why?
this is the deal, though. They have heard on mainstream media over and over and over and over again how horrible Trump has been for the past 5 years straight,
Hmm.
and so and they've got nothing to report. Well, now that Afghanistan has happened, but they have nothing to report, so they've got to show Trump. They've got to show him sometimes.
Hmm. Yep.
They're never going to be able to show him without him showing and telling how complete failure Biden has been in
Mm.
office.
Yep.
There's no, he does. That's all he says, because it's like, you've got to hear the truth, and who's going to tell you the truth? You know,
Yeah.
where that rhetoric comes from, we've got to fight back with it.
Joanna, I also think so. I was telling her earlier about Space Force and the NSA and stuff, and I was saying they're strategically right now putting out information every few days or so, at least once a week. The Hunter Biden laptop stuff, the Fauci's emails, things like that. That doesn't come out from anybody else but somebody that's a white hat actually getting that information out. And I think Negative 48 and Juan have also mentioned that McAfee's dead man switch has already started. So
Hmm.
some of the good information we're starting to get is coming out from them. So they're strategically laying out information as people begin to go, oh, Biden doesn't look so great. He's not looking great. And then we get a report. And then it's like, oh, look at this Hunter Biden's laptop. And then, so forth and so on.
And I
So
would
yeah, they
encourage,
are planting information already.
yeah, since you mentioned John McAfee, I would encourage anybody who's interested in those things, go on Telegram, get on John McAfee, get on Negative 48, um, get on Madison Marquette. There, and then even though there's Michael Jackson one that's
Yeah,
got
I saw that one too.
it's
Yeah.
hell, man. There's Michael Jackson, and there's Michael Jackson. What's the other one? It's right. It says Michael Jackson chat or something like that. There's two different ones,
Yeah. Yeah, I've
but
seen that.
a lot of interesting things on there too. So
Hmm.
yeah. Uh,
Also, one thing I was going to say, I'll tell you, with all this that we talk about and we're hoping is going to come true and everything else, um, when you go to these rallies, at first I kind of was like, okay, he's doing this for America First candidates, right? And I could kind of buy that without going to the rally, but
Yeah.
going to the rally, this time, and I came away going, look, and my dad did too. My dad, this is his first rally. he came away and he said, I've never seen a president do this in my lifetime. And I said, I know. And I said, this isn't about America First candidates. This is about so much more, and it's proof. These rallies are proof.
Yeah.
Mm. So your dad, what was he saying as far as his experience and never seen a? What did he mean by never saw a president doing what?
Like, right? You've never had a president come out of office, continue to fight for the American people, and even use his time to hold a rally and to go get rained on and spend his day flying, and you know, and he just there's never been a president to basically campaign post election, at
That's
least
because,
not before 2022, at least, he's not
but
campaigning for 2024.
we know he's never did get out of office. He's just
Right. Yeah. He's still
but
commander in chief. Oh, on that topic, commander in chief, a couple of people left the military about a week or so ago because of the vaccines. And Juan reported this on the latest Juan negative 48 video, and it's got a girl in it, and it's Jetson. But Trump signed it. Trump's the signee. That's like the third or fourth time like a military document has came out, and Trump is the commander in chief that has signed the page.
Exactly. Just like all got several, in the military, lifelong military soldiers and officers who have made it their career and they retire. And at the end of that, on their retirement, they get a letter specifically from the President of the United States. And we've seen those videos where it was June and July, where, people are retiring from the military, and that letter is written and signed underneath by President Donald J.
President
Trump.
Trump. Yeah.
No Biden on those letters. And this is after inauguration. This is
Yep.
all here.
Yep.
So go talk to somebody who's retired from the military. They'll tell you the truth.
Wow.
Lisa, what did they say in your school board meeting tonight?
About what, the board of supervisors meeting?
Yeah. Yeah, what did they officially conclude on? Like, did they change anything? Or are they waiting?
They couldn't officially conclude on anything. See, what happened was they had a school board meeting last night. They put in a motion for people to be able to talk. The good guys were like, yes, let's give them 3 minutes. Let's let them talk. The other guys were like, no, it's not on the agenda. Let it go. Or one of them was like, well, let's just give them 3 minutes. And the one good guy was like, no, 5 minutes. They always get 5 minutes. And so they went back and forth. And then the parents, apparently there was like 50 parents in the room. And the parents started saying, you need to go, you need to be out, we're going to get you out. You don't care about our kids, because the kids wanted to talk. There's a lot of kids in this area who are being bullied by the teachers, by bus drivers, some by other students, but not as much, because I don't think the students want to be masked. Mm-hmm. But like the teachers and the bus drivers are bullying them, so they wanted to talk. So the school board walked off. The ones that are libs, they walked off. And so they said, okay, guys, they shut it down. They shut the whole school board meeting down. They didn't even get to the Pledge of Allegiance. And they said, okay, they're going to have a board of supervisors meeting tomorrow. We all need to go. So we all went to that. The board of supervisors only pulls the puppet strings of the money. So a couple of us asked for them to stop funding. Stop the funding until we can. How are you going to have public hearings when you don't want to listen to the public?
Right.
How are you going to make decisions about kids when you don't want to hear the people's kids you're making decisions for? So, I mean, it was good. I didn't realize that almost all counties that surround us have school choice, have for the vouchers, and a couple of the guys on there were like, that's what we're going to look into. We're going to start looking into that. I think that's a good idea. And then when all the parents left, one of the board of supervisors came out and said, "You guys keep going, keep pushing, keep going to the school board, keep doing what you're doing." He was like, "Because you're making change." He was like, "It might not seem like it, but you gotta keep pushing." And then he went back into the meeting. But it was good. I was um I was happier with that meeting than the school board meetings. Gosh, I can't. It's just so hard for me to sit around and listen to these people talk about how we should be protecting everybody, and I can't. I just can't. I, I can't listen to people do that, and I don't think everybody should be carrying everybody on their shoulders. I just don't understand how you think we pay an individual mortgage or an individual rent. What does that have to do with everybody else on the street? Nothing. You pay yours.
Right.
But I was pleasantly happy with the meeting. Now we'll see what happens next school board meeting. Now they're probably, well, most of the bad ones are going to be upset with us because we went to the board of supervisors. But I mean, it is what it is.
Mm.
So, but yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Joanna, you have any news?
I'm having to decipher what news we actually want to put on here right
Oh,
now.
hey girl, we've already put it all out on the table. So you can go with whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
We talked about
we do say
17.
we say jabs most. I say jabs because I know a lot of these people are getting the same as
Well,
you.
so the channel isn't really, big or anything yet, so we're fine for now, but it would be good to get used to saying the right words.
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna call it the poison darts.
There you go. Yeah.
Poisonous darts.
And you're not supposed to say the A word or the F word.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to say QAnon or fraud or Trump or
Audit
yeah, exactly.
or Dominion is bad. We're not supposed to say it.
Oh, I got something new I didn't share. Department of Homeland Security. You remember they are the ones that came out and concluded that we're all terrorists now.
Yeah.
A whistleblower from Department of Homeland Security got in touch with Project Veritas, so we should be getting that report soon.
Oh, he hasn't. They haven't come out with it yet.
No, he quit Department of Homeland Security, resigned, and now he's going to Project Veritas. So we should see something soon.
There's no report yet.
Just waiting on. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's huge because they just basically threaten the American public. Joanna, I was telling Lisa too, an old 4-star general that's a lefty said that he wishes we could take all the unvaccinated Trump supporters and go drop them off in Afghanistan and leave them.
I said, that's okay. The Taliban's they said they're not jabbing their people anyway. Good gosh.
Yeah, there's many solutions. If we had our druthers, we would definitely handle things in a perfect world a whole lot differently than they've been handled.
Yeah.
I love how we were talking about Barron Trump and I didn't know this. I knew something about it, but I didn't know this.
Yeah.
That huh?
I was just laughing because I think I know where you're going.
Well, Trump won over 100 chess tournaments in Europe before he was 40 years old. He's a grand master 5D chess player. But
Mm,
then this whiz of a kid that he has obviously, um, spent a lot of time with training him in the same things.
mhm.
This child became a grand master. And this is something that very few people accomplish. But the child of our president, Donald J. Trump, is a grand master chess um, player, awarded grandmaster at 11 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
Like this child is a genius.
Wow.
So just I'm like I just want to know what's what's he gonna do? What's he gonna be?
And
Oh
that's the battle too. It's chess game, it's casino battle royale for planet Earth right now.
yeah.
What is Trump's IQ? Does anybody know that?
I don't know, but whatever that really hard like the test uh that they gave him, it was like 30 questions, and like most people could answer maybe the first 5, and the rest of them were very very difficult. He made a perfect score, and this is like anybody in the whole world taking this test. um he made a perfect score. Our president made a perfect score.
Mm,
He's brilliant.
Mm,
Brilliant.
mm.
it's awesome.
There's a lot of information. I don't know. Oh my gosh, y'all. There's so much with the codes. There's so much with things that you just have not heard before. That it's like every time I'm on all night long, I I'm like my jaw is on the floor, and I'm going, I can't believe this. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Hey, Joanna, see if you can look at this. This is what I was doing earlier, which would make you really happy. Can you see that at all?
Or go closer. Are you doing Gematria? You have code?
Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
wrote
So
the alphabet
wait,
out and what the number
can you
was.
tell me what you were decoding?
Well, I was watching Negative 48 and
Yeah.
107, and they were like talking about how POTUS winner comes out to like 174, and JFK Jr. is alive comes out to, a certain total. So I wrote this down so I could like add it up myself and make sure that they were accurate. And they
Yeah.
were. But then I also go this site where you could just type the name in, and it'll give you the
Yeah.
numerology.
Gematria.org is one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And there's
I
another
was
one.
doing that this afternoon because I was
No, you could
listening
be
to their
forever.
latest
I did
video.
it for like 3 hours on Sunday.
Oh
Um, I promise you, y'all. I am in um juniors boot camp, dude. but
Yeah.
But get this, I actually got to, when we had 1,000 something on, I got to share my decoding with everybody. And I am talking, and I'm just going to say, I'm talking to negative 48 to,
Yep.
one on one about what I've decoded. And it was beautiful. It was awesome. Um,
Joanna,
yeah.
did you hear that apparently the guy that held up the 17 behind Trump at the rally possibly was him? Did you hear anything about that?
I have pictures. Um,
Okay.
and I know that they were talking about he's, a SEAL and trying to decode this or that, or that they've seen him at a lot of other rallies
Yeah.
and that or whatever. But through everything that I was looking at, I never heard anybody say that they thought he was
Oh,
him.
okay. Gotcha.
Um, yeah, it was. But I wasn't sure what they were getting at. I just know it was he has been seen at many of them, and he's always got this stoic, strong face. And then you look at it, his
Yeah.
t-shirts have something on it, you know. Which did you see the t-shirt he had on? Odal for governor, dude.
That's awesome.
At this Alabama rally, he said he had Odal for governor right
That's
behind
awesome.
Trump.
So it was him. Okay, I'll have to look at that.
Isn't that amazing? I have a picture of it. I was going to share it
Then
with you.
he held up the 17. I was like, oh my gosh.
He was wearing a D Nodal shirt.
Yes, he was,
Yeah.
sir. Can you believe
Wow.
it? So I have, yeah.
That's crazy. So, by the way, in the video I watched today with them, he was referencing Junior and how he's alive and how Trump's hiding him. But
Who was? Who?
negative 48.
Oh,
But
yeah.
obviously, he wasn't going to sit there on the channel and say, "Hey, I'm him."
Yeah.
But look, I've listened to his voice side by side on another device,
And
and
they've
then took another device and paralleled their voices. And if it's not him, he's not alive, and we're all crazy. Because if it's him, that's him.
Well, I'm going to give you another little. I still believe it is him. I do. And I've got there's several on the chat, which, like I said, there's so many there. But just on live chat, there was 1,300, but then there's probably 10,000 on the actual Telegram at this point.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't remember how many, but what was I saying? So people through that chat, there's several people that there's an audio specialist who took it into his studio and took the what was it, Saturday Night Live interview? There was an interview with Junior before his plane crashed.
I thought it
Yeah.
was
Of a talk show.
yeah, it was a late night show. It wasn't
Conan
Saturday
or something.
Night Live.
I don't remember who it was. Okay, but he took that,
Conan.
of course, the negative 48, all the times he's on these different YouTube channels and talking with patriots, and he compared, and he said it was a perfect match. So, like, some of us you can't convince otherwise, but let me throw something out there, okay? Only because there's things that I've picked up with all, different times that he's talked and different little drops here and there. There is also 2 siblings that were said to be deceased that are not. So he actually, there is Patrick and Arabella. Arabella was supposedly a miscarriage or stillborn or something like that.
Wait a minute, siblings of his?
Of Caroline and Junior. And then, so there is a Patrick who came after Junior.
Okay.
And then there's Arabella, who was before.
Interesting.
I think was before. Yeah. And something about, and this is something on Friday, let me just say, Friday is a huge drop day for a lot of Patriot sites.
I heard about that.
Heard it over and over and over again, lots coming out on Friday. And so one of the things is that not 107, sorry.
Scott McKay was one.
There we go. That negative 48 is going to be on Scott McKay, and they're going to be talking about, and I don't know anything about this. I just know it's called the Jesus Strand. Okay. So we're going to be talking about bloodlines, and apparently AB negative is the rarest bloodline in the world. But those elite, this is just what I've gathered. So it could be so not whatever, but this is what
they've said
is those that have AB negative, that the elite try to delete them immediately, that they are a threat to them because it's supposed to be a holy bloodline.
Also, it's probably the descendants of Adam bloodline instead of the Cain bloodline.
Um,
You know anything about that?
yeah, I do, but
Yeah,
I'm not
Juan talks a lot about it. That
sure
would
what
make sense.
I don't know that it's. I'm not sure. I think it's more New Testament instead of like creation. It's
Oh,
more
okay.
happened after or Jesus on.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know enough about it to really say. It's kind of
Yeah.
out there right now for me. But I do know that AB negative bloodline, apparently Patrick and Arabella Kennedy were both born with the AB negative bloodline, so they were immediately hidden, and
Hmm.
it was announced that they had died
Crazy.
birth. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So
You know what I'm starting to come to the
yeah,
conclusion of? That
huh?
all this stuff is so elaborate that
It
it
is.
can't, like Q said, too many statistical impossibilities make it impossible, right? Some
Yeah.
of the stuff that has been elaborately thrown out on our side that relates to all this type stuff, like
Mm.
I'm the more we get further towards the end, I believe it. Like I'm like, there's just too elaborate for this to be just made up on the spot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like who?
like
Who?
there's
Yeah.
so many fantastical, seriously, like it's out of the norm. Fantastical things that you're just like, it can't even, what? No, what? These kind of things
Yeah.
where we're there though. We're there. Like,
We are. Hey, Joanna, you remember you sent me something about General Patton possibly being Trump's
oh,
dad?
not possibly, but yeah. Hmm.
Well, okay, and did you see what showed up on the screen right before Trump came out at the Alabama rally?
No.
It was a video montage of General Patton.
Yeah,
Boom.
it was on George today too.
Yeah.
And I freaked out because I was like, Joanna sent me something. So I even
Yeah.
showed somebody in the crowd that I'd made kind of friends with. I was like, look at this picture of Patton and look at it. Look at Trump.
I know.
Apparently, Trump was really his, Patton was his father, and you know, I forgot what you said. He was fostered by other people, right, from the Trumps.
He was. From what I heard, and I don't know. There's
Yeah,
drop stuff where they're just like, I don't know what they're wanting out and what they're wanting in, and but I'm assuming, if they're gonna say it, then it's gonna come out
yeah,
within a whatever's anyway.
right.
Um, but apparently, um, the date that is supposedly President Trump's birthday, which is Flag Day, June 14th, I believe,
Uh-huh.
um, is actually the day that he was adopted. And his
Mm.
Mm.
day is, um, let me see, I have it. His actual birthday is in December of the year before.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you said Patton actually fathered Trump with his nephew. Is that, or not? Nephew's wrong. Niece.
It's, uh,
Nephew's biologically
it,
impossible.
it sounds scandalous. And that's why they're like, that's how you know it's the truth. Because why would they want to make
Yeah,
something horrible like that?
yeah.
But it was that Patton had had Trump with his wife's niece was
Oh,
how scandalous it was. And so that child, he got given to the Kennedy family for protection and to be raised.
hmm.
Because Kennedys, the Kennedys had, I guess, with every group and many, even your own family members, you could call some white hats and some black hats, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So the Kennedys that um, they were, if anything, I think they even said gray to white hats or something, but the white, but that some of the Kennedys could be um, considered gray hats. So whichever ones were winning, they were going to jump on that one or whatever. But they made sure to give it onto the white, a white hat to their family. And that there was, I think there's a brother. I think there was a brother. I'm confused. I don't know. There's two brothers. So it's John and what was John F. Kennedy? He had a brother.
Bobby.
Yeah.
No, maybe it. There's so many notes, and I'm really trying to. I don't want to.
You're talking about JFK Senior.
Is that it?
So yeah, there was JFK, the president, and then his brother Bobby.
That's what I did. I got the Kennedys and Trumps mixed up. So sorry.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yep, that's where I was confused. So let me get it straight. Yes, Trump was General Patton's son, given to the Trump family. Okay, sorry I messed that up. Given to the Trump family, and the Trump family were all the way White House. Okay, and it was concealed, and even like if you look at the dates or something, they made sure there wasn't any suspecting going on, because they made Patton die one year, and then Trump's not even born until like the next year, right? So it doesn't even make sense.
Well, we know they lie about our history, so
yeah,
we don't really know anything with that.
But go back and say, oh, wait a minute, no, Trump was born the year before, and he was adopted the year that he actually has the date of birth of the Flag Day, June 14th. Then it is possible, and then you go, oh, well, was he that sick and old though? Like, how could he even have a child? But then last night again, there was something on there that he was actually murdered, and that makes a whole lot more sense. And it wasn't like old and ill.
Yeah.
Patton.
General Patton. Yeah.
Yeah. He was quite young. He was only 55 or so.
He was murdered.
I didn't see how old he was, but I did look at the date of birth and his date of death, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a year apart. He wasn't even alive. But then it made sense when I found out they actually said, went further into it on another episode, and talked all about how it was actually a fake date of birth. And apparently they do that all the time.
Yeah.
Because, let me tell you another thing that I guess because he says it, we can say it, and that's the only reason I am. That it was okay. So let me go back to what I was getting confused. John F. Kennedy Sr. and another brother of his. Mm-hmm. And does he have more than one? Did he have more than one? Do we know?
I believe one died in a plane crash, and then he had Bobby.
I'm not ever going to believe anybody died in a plane crash.
I know.
Anybody who died, they didn't die. They're somewhere, and they're fighting the deep state at this point. Like, everybody who died, they ain't dead. I'm just like, oh my gosh, yeah. So who knows? But what I did hear is that the John F. Kennedy Sr. and his brother were actually adopted, and that's why I got it confused. They were actually adopted out of a family, the Clooney family, and given to the Kennedys to raise the two brothers, because they were also of that AB negative bloodline. Apparently, I think that's what they're saying, is that was also AB negative bloodline, or a holy bloodline, whatever. I don't know. Like I said, Friday we'll find out what that all is, what they're talking about. I don't know if I don't know if I understand or even believe whatever they're saying, but
This stuff sounds nuts until you go back and you understand that the CIA owns the television set, and then you watch all those movies where like
Mhm.
Catholic churches try to, in horror movies, try to take the blood out of a baby or try to sacrifice a woman and her bloodline. And like, when you really look at that aspect of things,
and you know
you can
that they
really start to believe this type stuff.
and that they actually, have been telling us what the truth is. It's just they call it sci-fi.
Yeah.
Right.
um, but okay, so yes, like I said, fantastical kind of what, just out of normal thinking kind of stuff. But let me just say what has been dropped. That the John F. Kennedy Sr. and his brother, if I heard them say the name, it's just one name. I might remember, or I probably wrote it somewhere, but that they are actually from the bloodline of Abraham Lincoln himself,
Hmm. Wow.
and that had to be
I've,
concealed, and
I've
that
heard
that is the Clooney. I don't know how to spell it, and I might be saying it wrong, but that's the Clooney family or something. And because they were from the bloodline of Abraham Lincoln, they were given to the Kennedys to be protected.
I've heard that.
Mm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Then that,
Wow.
of course, means John F. Kennedy Jr. is that of what as well.
Which would make a lot of sense while we've got like almost like this whole military alliance, this whole Q thing, how it seems like it's like divine, and how it seems like it's been like one plan that maybe has been back all the way since Lincoln. Um, so that sort of makes sense. That would kind of like
Well,
tie that scenario in.
from what I've heard, Kristen W said that Q has been around. I don't know if it was Kristen W or if it was, you know what, it might have been the Bishop Larry Gators. He might have said Q was started long ago to protect the president, whatever president that it was at the time. If
Right.
they felt like that president needed extra protection,
Hmm.
uh, or stuff like that, that that it's been going on for a long time. Of course, it's not the same people because people have died and gotten older and blah blah
Oh,
blah. But he said that it has been, that whole thing has been going on. He might have said since Abraham Lincoln. I can't remember.
yeah.
But he said that Q's been going on for a long time. They do it just to protect the president.
It mirrors secret societies, but in a white hat type way.
Yeah.
It sounds like more like a secret service, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Secret service.
I haven't heard anything about how long Q has been going on. I know that the drop started in 2017, right? Is that your understanding as well?
Um, they restarted, but if you go back to 1962, John F. Kennedy on his sailboat had Where We Go, When We Go All. So I heard speculation he started it, and that he used it quite often to communicate with the American public.
Okay, cool.
Um, but really, I don't know. But and Q could have gotten the slogan from Kennedy. Or I don't know, but I've also heard that it's been going on since Lincoln, kind of almost like as a, the same way the cabal's been going for 300-400 years now. Um, that almost Q's been doing the same thing with under like Lincoln, and
Good
that
and evil.
Lincoln was about the Federal Reserve. That
Yeah.
wasn't about slavery. It was about the Federal Reserve.
Oh yeah.
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 It's. I mean, it's always the going back to the
Good and
Lucifer, the
good
cabal.
and evil.
The
Yep. Good and evil.
yeah. But what I did hear about as far as Q is that it's a team of less than 10 people, and
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
no, 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 not less. Sorry, it's 10 people. Because they're 7 military and 3 civilian.
3-9. Hey, I have something to tell you off that. I listened to X22 report last week. Post 60, basically, if you want to find it, Q post 60 is where the 3 non-military. This led me into something I was going to try to share before we're done anyway. Trump, Dan Scavino. Go back and look at all of Dan Scavino's tweets after the election. And even now, they're all, it's like Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. But then he said the third non-military is Mike Pence.
Wait, what?
Mike,
Wait.
he said the third non-military guy is Mike Pence, and that Mike Pence played a part
I've been
on
hearing
January
the same
6th.
thing. People been saying, I've been hearing people say the same thing, and I'm like,
Right.
Okay.
Y'all don't like it.
Look, guys, I want to write X-22, and they said, so did they say the other non-militaries?
Trump, Scavino, and Pence.
Okay, Dan Scavino, like Florida?
Yeah, Dan
Yeah.
Scavino.
Okay, now I'm gonna counter that with this information that I've heard this past week. Okay.
Okay, yeah, go
And
for
who
it.
knows what it is? So we're just
Yeah.
putting out information that we hear from different sources, and it is
Absolutely.
up to everybody else to go and do their own digging and do their own listening and
Right.
make up their own mind and wait for the truth to come out. So
That.
we're not
Yes.
saying any of this is true or right or correct or whatever. We're just saying what people are saying on all these different channels. Okay.
Yep.
So with the many hours just it's kind of I don't want to admit how
Yeah.
much and boot camped into this. I'm seriously like, what's wrong with me? But
Yep.
you feel like when you hear truth you just can't get enough of it, but you've heard so much crap for so long, and so a lot of this just resonates when you listen. You're just like, oh, well, then, oh, that makes sense. And oh my gosh, well, okay. And so some of it, it just brings some things, some clarity to you. But let me just say what has been very definite with negative
Okay.
for Nate and his channel and his people.
Uh-huh.
Anytime Pence has been mentioned, anytime Pence has been mentioned, he will say very quickly and very clearly, Pence is gone and so is his wife. They are pushing up daisies. They are not here. And he also said it was this date at this time on this plane. And it what do they call the plane when the vice president's on it?
I don't know.
Like, so what is it when president's on it? Somebody's out there screaming it, but it's not like Eagle One has landed or what. It's something else, right? It's something it's their code for when the president is in the plane.
Yeah.
And then the code for when the vice president is in the plane. And they took off calling their airplane a certain name for, vice president in the plane.
Right.
But halfway through that plane flight, they changed and there was no longer a vice president on that plane.
Interesting.
Or alive on that plane. And at the very same time, this is what he said. At that same time, we had a vice president sworn in secretly. A vice president already in service for our country, sworn in the death of Mike Pence, and that was JFK Jr. And that JFK Jr. is actually our acting vice president right now.
While Trump's the acting president, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting, is it not?
Yeah.
And I want to say this too, and this is just my own conjecture, but it's incredible, to experience the live chat with negative 48, all the things he has to say. He talks in code. He'll talk about code all the time because
Mhm.
it's like a whole language that it's like the language of God that we have been blind to and know nothing about. And so
Right.
because it's being opened up to people and they're seeing how this matches with this, then this and this, and this number, it also means this. Um, then lost my train of thought with it. Is he has really told, he's trying to tell us, he's trying to let us know, hey, open your minds, look at the coding. I'm teaching you right now. I am teaching you how to see this in a different at a different in a different light, different perspective. And to hear him talk and to see more and more, like a week and a half ago, there were 530 on this live chat
Mhm.
and he's on there 6 hours straight. And he will just let question after question. It's basically this. He is allowing the American populace, just the everyday Joe, to come on and ask pertinent questions that we all want to know the answers to. And he's giving those answers to the best of his ability with what he can say. But I feel
Right.
like this is, if he is our acting vice president, and these are big ifs, and if
Mhm.
he actually John Jr.,
Mhm.
while Trump is going all around the country doing his rallies, John F. Kennedy Jr. is educating and doing digital rallies every night.
That's interesting.
Isn't it? This is just my own conjecture, but I'm saying he's winning over a whole new group of people.
I,
Mhm.
I have a question on both of these topics. So, is it possible that all the prophets that we listen to, or some of them that we listen to, have just been piggybacking off Clement? And I don't know, right? Because I almost feel like we're in a moment now where this movement right here, kind of this Q, um, Junior, all this other stuff, maybe sort of separating maybe the truth, and maybe some of the truths there are starting to separate from what the prophets have told us.
You
And
know,
what really
it's
opened up my eyes to that was Hank Kuhneman um,
Addison Marquette.
calling out Madison Marquette, because um, I don't know. I've just sort of been in this kind of spirit about some of the prophets, like going, okay, like I'm going to go back to the original source. Like Kim Clement is saying this,
Yeah,
and I'm a little worried about some of the others and just
I
where
know.
they get.
I know. I mean, Madison Marquette then, posts that Hank and his wife are, worth 600
600 million. Hmm.
million,
Yeah.
like craziness, crazy
And
million.
2 nights before you sent me the Madison Marquette thing, I heard his, you know, his tithing message. And and a tithing message is a tithing message, but it jumped all over my spirit. And I trust my spiritual discernment quite a bit. And so it was not only that, but it was his vax push from the stage. And then you send me that, and he had sort of bent on like the vaccine stance, almost acting as if he wanted the congregation to get it. And I just started kind of getting a weird feeling.
I didn't hear or see that at all.
Mhm.
Um,
It was 2 days before you sent me the message. I guess it was his last message.
okay. Well,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know about that. I'm just, there's so many, and just, I'm telling you, to watch Madison Marquette, you just know she is telling absolute truth. She has nothing to lose. She is not getting any money for this. She is trying to save these children who are trafficked like she was.
Right.
Jesus is inside of her, and you know the truth. You
Hmm.
just know it.
Right.
And And so because of hearing, the ones that she, I mean, just outed and said, look, these people bought me, raped me, trafficked me, sold me,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
and has named them by name. And she said she could not do it for years until the Lord said, okay, now expose this one. Now
Yeah.
expose. Well, exposing has been for years. We've been told is great exposure coming to the church. We have
Yeah.
heard years from all kinds of prophets all
Yeah.
over all across the spectrum. We've heard that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we know that's coming. We've known it's coming.
Yeah.
Um, so to hear her say these names and to hear Rick Warren and sickening and to hear um,
Kenneth Copeland.
Kenneth Copeland
Hmm.
and then to hear the prophets that I have loved and listened to and trusted, and they're still under and promoting Kenneth Copeland. And
Yeah.
I'm not understanding it, man. I don't understand.
Well, Hank called her a witch.
So,
He called her a witch.
yeah, and she, put on there, are you scared I'm going to out you? Is there something I need to say about you? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Lisa.
Yeah.
It how far does it go? How deep does it go? We don't know, but I am praying,
Hmm.
God, you have got to show us at this point, not
Absolutely.
dirty. It seems like there's so many that are dirty, so many who have just been such apostates,
Yeah.
presenting themselves as one thing and are nothing like. So I'm just praying at this point, God, please show your people who we can trust.
Who we can trust. Yeah.
There are too many that we can't. I don't even want to know. It's like there's too many. Just show us who we can trust.
Lisa,
Well,
what's your opinion?
that's the first thing that the devil went after was the church.
Hmm.
That's the first thing, and then the schools. So he went after the church, then he went after the children.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
I can't. I have been weeding out people that I listen to. I just can't. Uh, Kim keeps popping up um for me to watch. His
Implement.
yeah, his daughter, does that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he's the original. I've been feeling in my spirit that like some people are just kind of piggybacking, and I'm not saying it's
yeah,
purposely nefarious or whatever, but I think people are piggybacking off the guy, off Kim a little bit. People I like.
yeah. And and the one that just because of what he said about what now -48 has said about Pence, I'm just like, man, I mean, if that's true, there's a lot of prophets who still talked about Pence being, so I
Yeah.
don't,
Well, they all piggybacked off the same. I don't want to keep saying that, but piggybacked off the same message. If that's what they did,
Mhm.
um, the same idea, and so it's dangerous for us in a way. Because I mean, when we listen to -48 or the Q movement or something like that, we're still very up in the air. We're waiting for details. We trust it, but we don't. We're watching for the proof. Everything else with the prophets, though, we want to really take that with
The
almost
whole-
100% certainty, and that's
yeah,
scary.
I
yeah.
know, because that's what we've been trained to do as the church. Oh, we trust the prophets. We, invest in,
Right.
the godly ministries and
Right.
you know, our hearts are in the right place, but we've been trained to be blind,
Mhm.
and we've got to learn how to be wise, aware, awake, seeing sheep.
Hmm.
It's just like the same way that we've been trained to okay, obey the law, put your seatbelt on, go get your inspection sticker, listen
Hmm.
to the cops. The cops don't do wrong. And I back the blue. My brother is a
Yeah.
cop.
Hmm.
But you know, we've been trained to do. Oh, it's just a mandate. It's just, it's just one thing after the other after, and
Right.
we've been trained the same way that we've been trained to listen to the person that calls himself the pastor or the prophet or the
Hmm.
shepherd, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, just the same way.
Right. And I tell you, I have you guys watched Mark Taylor before? I think I've
Yeah.
talked about him before. I
Mm,
trust him. He's not in a pulpit saying the stuff that he says.
yeah.
Um,
He
he
took
he
a
he prophesied about the 2012. Well, he prophesied that Trump would be president, and then questioned himself pretty hardcore because he didn't get elected in 2012, and
yeah.
then had to literally wait and question if he heard what he heard from God all the way to 2016.
Yeah.
And he's heard that Trump will be reinstalled. He's heard all of this. But one thing that's so humble about it is he doesn't do it from a platform. When they're jumping up there and doing it on a platform, it gets kind of weird, and you just wonder who's piggybacking off what information. And Kim's another story. Definitely was doing it from a big stage, but like nobody was doing this, and this was like 20 years before before some of it's coming true.
That
Yeah.
that that's the thing. All Kim stuff is like coming true now, and it's like,
Well,
oh,
correct me if I'm wrong, and y'all can correct me, you probably know more about it. Prophecy's supposed to be more like, hey, I'm prophesying over something and I've got to wait. And are we
yeah,
literally getting active prophetic word every week? Like
I
some of
don't
these
think so.
pastors are coming on and saying, they're like, oh yeah, this week I've got this, and I was wondering, is that how that works? Like, can we get a prophetic word about Pence tomorrow, and then next week we get another prophetic word saying, "Oh, just wait, some tsunami's coming," you know,
Yeah,
or does it seem more? Is that how prophecy works, or is it more like, "Hey, I'm a prophet. I'm standing on something God's told me, and I may have to wait 20 years for it to come out."
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I don't know,
now,
Joanna. You know anything about that?
at this point, I mean, we know God can do anything. God can,
Right.
at any point in time, for
Yeah.
any amount of time, He can, have somebody come up to you that day and say, you need to go to this place because blah, blah, blah. There can be
Yeah.
very specific things that are very timely for an instantaneous kind of, result.
Right.
And there's other times where you wait 20 years and you still waiting, you know, years
Yeah.
and years to see the word of the Lord fulfilled. So uh, I don't think prophetic prophecy doesn't have, to me,
A
doesn't
limit on it.
doesn't have a time frame.
Yeah.
It's what God, um, intends for that time and place and purpose and person. Um, but because of everything else that has been revealed, I find myself not trusting anything and
mm-hmm.
go,
Well,
okay,
You
let
start.
me play no, I don't even want to say that. I don't like that phrase. But let me let me, hold on. I'm gonna be gross and at the end of the day, but I'm totally switching this over because I feel like this is so
I
impersonal. Okay, hi guys. I hate to
Hi.
Joanna.
I I wasn't at the end of the day. And anyway, um I have been so jaded by what has been revealed already that
Mhm.
it makes me feel like, okay, let me listen to all these prophecies and go, all right, if they were part of the deep state and they know about, let's say, weather warriors, weather, well, not weather warriors, but the weather. altering,
Harp,
tampering,
harp,
weather warfare.
harp,
Yeah.
AARP.
Okay,
Mhm.
that.
Or dues, in their dues.
So how easy
Direct
would it
energy
be?
weapons.
Okay, yeah. So how easy would it be if you're in the know to know, oh, they're going to use the rods of God and bust a dam next week. And
Uh-huh.
so I can say, oh, watch the water. Or I can say, watch the skies. You know,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
can do that. Oh, something's going to shake. Yeah, because they're going to blow this mountain up. Or, you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I have really gotten to the point where I'm like, you, I just want to question everything. I want to
Yeah.
question it and go, God, show me shine the light of your truth and,
Mhm.
and reveal what is true because
Yeah.
we've been deceived about so much for so long.
Yeah.
And it's all this digging and it's all these people who have this information that show us this, that we have truly been deceived for such a long time
For
that we
free, and they're not making money.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
major discernment as
Mhm.
Christians,
Yeah.
as people who want to know God's perfect will, his divine destiny for us. We have to know, that we're following truth.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so that is my big thing now. It's like, God, just show me who we can trust. Give
Right.
us discernment so that we can follow the right path.
Yeah. Well,
I
I'm
think
worried about the
we have to make sure too that we stay in His Word.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That we also, I trust Pastor Locke. I mean,
Me
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Mm.
yeah,
If you understand that the vax is bad, that's part of it right now. That's a
Yeah.
huge discernment that certain people just don't have.
Oh my gosh! And I just realized what I was trying to say to you when you told me about the
Oh, and Dean Odell, my pastor now, same crap. No
Okay.
vax.
Right. Yes. So you said about the three who were not
3 non-military.
three civilians, that it was Trump, Scavino, and Pence.
That's just X22 reporting that.
Okay. X20. Right. Thank you.
Yep.
So according to X22, according to negative 48,
Okay.
Pence is dead. His dead. We have an acting vice president that has not been revealed yet.
Yeah.
I did see a picture that looked like it was Trump getting off of Marine One, and inside the doorway, sitting down. Did you see that picture? And it looks like John F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And even like the way that his hands were shaped, and then they show pictures from 20 something years ago, and it's like the hands doing the same thing,
Yeah.
in the normal sitting stance or something.
they say that's why Hillary, when they took Hillary to that van that day, that he was sitting in the van. That's why she passed out.
Um,
Wow.
I heard it was from, oh gosh, help me, it starts with a K. It's it's from
Oh,
a
from
cannibal.
from eating the dead babies
Hmm.
or
That
whatever.
it causes like seizure like shakes, and because I
Yeah.
saw the video too, but it was like she was seizing, she was shaking, and they had to help her up. But I haven't heard that, so that's interesting.
Mm.
Another revealing that about them was they show apparently when they gave all the little letters at
Yeah.
Bush's funeral.
Bush Senior's funeral. They all said different things from what I've heard. Everything had something different in it. But the one that Laura Bush looked at had a picture of Senior Bush Senior in his wheelchair in front of Gitmo, and President Trump was on one side of him, and John F. Kennedy Jr. was on the other side of him.
Wow.
And that's the picture they got. And I heard that he was not in that coffin.
You know, Bush killed Junior or Senior.
Huh?
Bush was the CIA director during the assassination.
Kennedy, yeah, JFK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Apparently,
Yeah.
the magazine was just a code too. The fact that it was called George.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. And the second one you talked about, and this is sad to me. Okay. Scavino, and according to 48, he said both Abbott of Texas and Scavino are swamp monsters.
Oh, Abbott. Yes, I know. Abbott's only been good the last month or two for political theater, but Scavino wouldn't surprise me.
Well, that's what he said, and I was like, no, don't we have anybody? Isn't there any governor in this entire United States that we can trust? Please.
Yeah.
So that's just what his intel. So I'm saying 2 out of the 3 that X20 said.
Well,
is
wouldn't Junior be 2 or 1 of the 3 non-military though?
I would think so.
Unless he went off to be a general for a while or something.
I mean, possible, but
General Flynn would probably be part of the 7. Gotta be. He's in on it.
Hopefully both Flynn's.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's head of Army Pacific right now, which would not happen if Joe Biden was commander-in-chief of the military. I'm just saying.
That was
okay. Interesting. Do what?
That was a big clue when that happened.
That was a big clue. I want to finish up on that last thing I was talking about real quick. I worry with the Trump prophet scenario, the whole scenario that's like, oh, we get this weekly dose of a prophetic word, and it's what the next message is about this next Sunday. And I kind of worry about that whole scenario of I'm always getting a new word on the Trump situation. It seems like kind of a little propaganda for, just to keep people like kind of moving in that direction. You know what I'm saying? And you've got years worth of Kim Clement stuff to kind of piggyback off of. But just like you said, Joanna, like you can sit there all day and go, oh, the weather's going to be crazy. Well, duh. I mean, so I've been really weird about the whole, like, we're getting updates constantly. Like, I don't want to call all of them by names, and I listen to all of them, but like just this constant, like the newest message has a new prophetic word. And I'm just like, I've been kind of on that train of thinking like, I don't know about this. And they're saying things that are going to come true because like we believe Trump, there'll be reversal and stuff like that. But they're giving us like dates and details almost in the middle of it. And kind of, I don't know. I just feel like it could be.
I mean, we did mention Kinnaman, and I just want to say, like, I have felt very encouraged, all summer watching him. Encouraged, and to hear him bash someone, it's like, okay, it really is to me. Is he just so deceived, and he's such good friends, or he's been trained by Copeland? That's his that he just can't believe that, or was he a part of it this whole time? Because to me, it's one or the other.
After, it has to be.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he definitely behaved terribly as a pastor by like going at her like that. There's so many people that like quit, and so many people that stopped following him based upon his behavior. To call her out like that, she in her spare time saves children. So her fruits
and get separated shoulders and black eyes from it, and yeah.
This is that modern day scenario where it's like, do I believe the pastor or the whore? the porn star, right?
Oh,
Well, she's not anymore, but you know what I'm saying? It's that
yeah,
kind of story that's like,
yeah. Mary,
I
you know,
I
Mary
think
Magdalene, the
Copeland went off the rails a long time ago.
mhm. Yeah,
but
He,
it's
he got
interesting.
he
Do
got a
you?
taste of that money, and
yeah,
I just, it's interesting to hear that in that way because you really, let's go back to the New Testament and let's go. Do we believe the Pharisees and the Sadducees, or
yeah,
believe the first witness of the resurrection, Mary Magdalene?
right. And that's why I
What?
said it that way, because that's how the pastors that
I
don't
got
have the
chills.
right heart are going to
Chills.
look at her that way.
I
Do
got
what?
I got chills.
Yeah, the pastors that do not have the right heart are going to look at her that way. It's the pastor versus the,
Wow.
and it's just
Wow.
right. Who has been saved by the righteous blood of Jesus Christ?
Yep.
She has.
And
And so that's where it's like, this is getting weird. We need discernment.
yeah, we do. We absolutely do. And you know, I don't know, one of you want to lead us, out in prayer, for that very thing, that the Lord will take the blinders off of his people and that we will be able to see clearly, discern clearly, because we really do need to. This is part of the warfare. Is
Mm-hmm.
now, you know, where
Absolutely.
wisdom. We need wisdom.
You're right. Wisdom. Wisdom and spiritual discernment.
Mm.
yeah, big time. And in the meantime, we'll keep digging and keep listening and keep,
Yeah.
to
Hey,
find.
Joanna, you lead us.
Man, I was trying to push it off on somebody else.
You got it.
Well, it's kind of what we're all saying, Lord. We just come to you, Father. We thank you, Lord, that you are the creator God, and you can bring life to any dead thing, and you can make something out of nothing, and you are all powerful, and you are all knowing. We glorify you, Father. We thank you for being our God, our Father, for sending Jesus Christ as our Savior and Lord. God, we thank you. We come into your presence with thanksgiving, and we thank you that you loved us enough to send us Jesus. And Lord, we just pray, God, that you know the times that we are in, and we need discernment. We need your wisdom. We need your direction. God, we don't want to be just led here and there and to and fro. And, a double minded man is unstable in all his ways. We don't want to be double minded, God. We pray that you give us the mind of Christ. And Christ Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And so we pray that you show us the way and that you reveal to us the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord, we just thank you that you shine the light of your truth into every dark corner, to every dark, sinister plan, and that you reveal to us and to the world that the darkness is coming to light. And you show us where that is and who that is, that they will no longer hide, that they can no longer hide. We pray for the spotlight of the Holy Spirit to come and just shine the light of truth, that we will not, as a people, as a holy people, just set apart unto you, Father, that we will not be deceived anymore. We rebuke the deceiver in the name of Jesus. And we thank you, Lord God, for your truth. In Jesus. Amen.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, that's a pretty long video. Me and Lisa probably had about 30 or 45 minutes before you got on too.
But I had to get on 9 times,
I saw that. Yeah.
same thing, same thing. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'm even on, but it
That's awesome.
happened. And
Yeah.
so much for letting me pop on with you guys. And I'll have to go
Yeah.
back and watch what y'all said before.
Yeah.
Anytime,
Cool.
anytime. I'm going to sleep though, guys.
Yep. It's late now.
Well, God bless you, Lisa. It's good to talk with you, see you. on
Yes, I like
and your
it.
night. God bless.
Yeah.
Good night,
Bye.
guys.
Good night.
Good night.